You have all your notes?
No.
You don't want to have any notes for this segment?
No notes.
Is this how, this is it? You're so like clued in, dialed into
Depending
sports.
how deep in the weeds we get. That's much better.
Thank you. So, this is the beginning of WSPN. So let me just explain very briefly, and then I'll explain Steve Hurt's role today. So there's this great app called Thuuz, T-H-U-U-Z, and Thuuz ranks based on a 100-point system, this algorithm they came up with, the most exciting games within your network, within the sports that you picked. So you can know what to watch, when to watch, you get these various alerts. And in association with Thuuz, there's another app that they are starting to release, and it's called WSPN, the World Sports Personality Network, not to be confused with anything else. And we are gonna spend the next hour, well, you spend every hour of your life doing this, but I'm gonna spend the next hour sucking you into my vortex, and we are going to, there's a lot of sports going on, it's a big weekend coming up. It's a big political day, it's a big sports weekend, there's just a ton going on. Right?
You used to be in this
12 years. I spent 12 years.
I don't think a lot of your viewers may not know that, right?
Because it was a long time ago. I was a sportscaster for 12 years. That's where I met Steve, was at a Mets game. Steve Hurt is the president of the Elias Sports Bureau. Why bureau and not like network or company?
I don't know. I think
Bureau sounds fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the FBI is a bureau.
It's a bureau, right.
Yeah.
And what Steve's company does, Elias provides the statistics for a lot of the major league sports. So if you're watching a football game and you see a stat underneath it, that most likely came from Steve's company, or in baseball or something. And some of them are obscure statistics, and some of them are, you know, pretty obvious ones. But if you ever wonder where it comes from, it's his brain. You can't see it because of the non-translucency happening here.
Or our computers.
Yeah, but, or the brain.
Right.
One or the other.
One or the other.
Yeah. So that's and I'm excited because you're not just a statistic guy. You're one of my best friends.
Okay.
So I have dumbed you down and brought you into my world of.
But when we first met, it was around sports. It wasn't around everything else that you've gone on to do. So
we were sitting at, I think it was at Shea Stadium, correct?
Yeah.
Watching a Mets game?
Watching a Mets game about 15 years ago or 12 years ago. How long did you say it was?
I don't really know. But
No. How long did we do in sports?
12 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a long time.
But you did it in Philadelphia and elsewhere before you came to New
Sure,
York.
I did Philadelphia, I did Rochester, New York, I did some Binghamton, and then I did sports here in New York.
I just want to burnish up your credit here, so when people hear you talk sports, they know that
I know of which I
you've spoken to Tom
speak.
Brady. You know,
Correct.
You know these people.
Yes, I do. I've covered them, and I've interviewed them. I've been in many locker rooms, many clubhouses. I have interviewed many more athletes than I could probably even name, which is why I know things like, you know, Rafael Furcal. I mean,
obscure second baseman
from the Braves.
15 years ago.
I know the Hall of Fame class that just went in. Ivan Rodriguez, I watched him play. Who else went in? Tim Raines?
Tim Raines, and Jeff Bagwell.
Jeff Bagwell, who had a very low stance. Very low stance.
I used to say he almost was sitting on a stool when he was.
Exactly. Yeah.
I haven't seen Jeff Bagwell personally for a long time, probably since he stopped playing until yesterday. And when I saw him walk in, I thought, wow, you know, he was wearing dark rimmed glasses, and he had aged a little bit. His hair was a little different and longer and stuff. And you don't see these guys for a couple of years, and then they age on you.
Of course.
How's that going to happen? Yeah.
It's not like Michael Strahan, who, after he stopped playing, did every television show in the history of the world.
And
so
you see him twice a day or something.
Exactly. So, big weekend coming up for you. If football's got to be one of your favorite sports.
Oh, absolutely. We do the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, having a great half season so far, the National Hockey League, soccer, Major League Soccer, but I mean, this is the NFL's version of the Final Four this weekend. So
I almost think this is more exciting than Super Bowl weekend.
People say that because, first of all, there's 2 games, not 1.
Right.
And the Super Bowl itself in this country has become so involved with, if you go into the game, travel and what airport can take your private jet coming in.
Right. Yeah, I'm very stressed about that.
More than that, people who don't go to the game, what party we're going to, where's the dip, did somebody spill some wine on my brother?
Right.
You know,
so it's so much more than just the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a game going on in the background.
Right.
The other thing, and this is from the athlete's point of view, you know, everybody wants to win the final game.
Correct.
But in all sports, there's a recognition that there's going to be a winner and a loser in that game. Getting to the Super Bowl, getting to the World Series, depending on the circumstances of the team,
Yes.
is a pretty big deal in its own. Why? Because you don't have to be home watching someone else play. You are in the last game.
Right.
The worst feeling is for something to be going on without you.
Right.
If you're a professional athlete. So getting to the game, you watch at the end of this week, if the Patriots beat the Steelers and advance to the Super Bowl, you'll see smiles and relief from Bill Belichick that you didn't see, for example, last week after they won their first game.
It's all about getting to the Super Bowl.
Well, once you're there, it's about winning it.
Right.
But you have a week off beforehand. You don't have to go immediately into preparation mode.
Right.
That's the beauty of this weekend, and that's the beauty of this round of the playoffs. This particular weekend, we have 4 teams who are as hot as teams can be. Now, you always have to think of it to get to this round of playoffs. You always have to win your preliminary playoff games.
Sure.
But these teams all ended the regular season hot. The Steelers won their last 7. Patriots won their, I'll put it this way, the 4 teams, Steelers, Patriots, Packers, and Falcons. If you look at the last 6 regular season games that the 4 of them played, before they got to the playoffs, they were 23-1.
Wow.
The Falcons committed the sin of losing one of their last 6 regular season games, but they lost by only 1 point,
By 1 point.
to the Chiefs, 29-28. So those 4 teams ended the regular season as hot as you could be. John Madden always used to say, you want to be playing the Thanksgiving.
The best kind of
Thanksgiving for him was kind of like the starter's belt.
Right.
From Thanksgiving on, you want to be playing the best football. And that had waned a little in recent years. John had made that observation, for years. When I looked at it this year, I looked back like 4 or 5 years, it wasn't so true. Teams were ending the season with some losses and making the playoffs and all this.
Right.
But this year, the Madden rule is back with a vengeance.
This is it.
By the way, we're playing to the one with the white cord coming down.
We're playing all of them. We're playing Twitter,
all live.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's all simultaneous.
It's all going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. You mentioned
NBC, CBS.
NBC, CBS, ABC, all of it, everybody, the whole world.
They can
Paraguay,
retweet it if they want.
Uruguay.
Any other guy.
Any other guys we have nailed. You mentioned that after this week, Belichick would be smiling if he won.
Right.
Which would make that the first time I would have ever seen Bill Belichick smile.
I've seen him smile after Super Bowl wins, and sometimes after this round. That the
Sometimes, not often. Sometimes.
Okay. I mean, he's not a smiler.
He's not. He was born unsmiling. He's just not a smiling guy. Not a happy guy unless he wins.
People who know him a lot better than you and I do attest to the fact that in private he's a jokey, happy guy. And when you see some of these NFL films things,
Yeah.
I always like to see if Belichick is like they have something of Belichick actually coaching up the players during the game, because it's just unusual to hear his voice.
Ever.
Yeah, to hear what he sounds like, and he's
Right.
really kind of an inspirational motivator.
Yeah.
You guys got to get back out there. You got to do this and
But you never see that.
But you never see
Never
it
see that.
because what we see is the press conference, Bill, and
Sometimes
working
you
on TV
see-
when you would meet with him like before a game.
Which you have.
Yes, I mean he's not going to give you anything about the game plan or anything like
No.
that. He's totally buttoned up on that. If you get him to talk about other football related topics other than the game that's coming up, or
Right.
he's not going to reveal anything. But he was the son of a football coach. His father coached at Navy for about 30 years.
Okay.
So he grew up like knowing how to dissect video and
Right.
film. And he can give you a history of, why did they used to use a different formation in football? At one point in football, they would line up 3 guys right behind the center. And the center might hike the ball to any one of those 3 guys.
Oh, you didn't know who?
You didn't know who. It was kind of
nice.
And the guy would run. There wasn't much passing in those games then, because those 3 guys weren't all adept passers, but it was more of a running game. And he could take you through the evolution of why that changed to the formation they use now.
But yet ask him about what he plans to do in the second half, and
No.
he's just going to be like, I need to just finish cutting my sweatshirt sleeves, and then I'll get back to you in a little bit.
That's right. He's hey, if I were an NFL head coach, I would
Same.
tell you what
Of course.
Were you ever sideline reporter and all the stuff you did?
I did one sideline report. Just one game for one season in one sport. You'll never guess. It was so
one
random.
game in one season.
In one sport.
Or one sport. All right, let me think. Was it football?
Nope.
Basketball.
Sort of.
Sort of basketball?
Yeah.
Basketball, the old movie?
It was a WNBA game.
That's basketball. That's what we call basketball.
Yeah, it was a WNBA game, and it was the New York team against another team. And they got me so stressed out because I'd never done sideline before. They gave me so much information. Al Trevor was like, "You sure you got it? Are you sure?" I mean, there was so much that they came to me, and I was basically like, "That went well. We're back after this." Like, I'm pretty sure that's all I said.
And for that, they didn't ask you back?
Can you believe it?
A little thing like that?
Shockingly. But I will tell you, I don't think I've seen a better game than the two divisional games leading up to that. Because the prior playoff games were not great games. Until I sat down to watch that Cowboys-Packer game, one of the best games I ever saw, followed by the Chiefs game, the Chiefs-Steelers game. Again, one of the best games I've ever seen.
That was a great Sunday of football.
And you talk about momentum leading into conference games. If there's any more momentum than that, I don't know what there is.
The last 2 minutes of the Cowboys-Steelers, of the Cowboys-Packers game, where the teams were trading 50-yard field goals. And Mason Crosby had to make a 56 to put the Packers ahead originally. And then Cowboys came back with a 52-yard at the time. Right. After the great Rodgers pass, we'll get back to that in a minute. Crosby then makes him, actually had to make it twice because Dallas coach called the surreptitious timeout. Yeah. So I actually made 3 50-yard field goals on his merits in the last 2 minutes. Now, no other kicker in NFL history ever made 2 field goals within the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter of the game, of any length.
You don't get that kind of information anywhere else.
But much less 2 field goals of 50 or more yards, both of which put your team ahead. Now, the Rodgers pass was one of the greatest plays I've ever seen.
Let's argue. Yeah. I don't think it was a great pass. I think that Jared Cook had one of the great, smart wherewithal catches ever. And I think it was a regular pass that he threw. I mean, why was it a great pass? It was just skimming the sideline.
Okay.
But I don't think many receivers could have caught that ball.
No, I would say I'd agree with you that the catch made the play even more than the throw did. But appreciate this on the throw. And now you're very athletic.
Have you ever played quarterback? I know he ran and threw across his body. I knew that.
He's running one way to the left sideline, and he's a right-handed quarterback, so he's sort of running away from your throw. If you heard the television announcer on that play say, "And Rodgers throws it away." No, it's caught.
Yeah,
and that was a tip-off that he looked like he was throwing the ball away because a right-hand quarterback never completes that pass. I say never, so I looked up in our files.
Of course you did. That's why I love you.
How many times in this entire NFL season?
Yeah.
256 games plus the playoffs.
Right.
How many other completions have there been?
Yeah.
More than 30 yards downfield,
running left, pass, throwing right,
where the quarterback was between the numbers and the sideline. You know, the numbers painted on the field. So you're at the extreme edge of the field.
Yeah.
It was one on it the whole season.
Really?
Ryan Tannehill completed one in Miami in October. And to have that pass completed at this moment, there were 12 seconds left. When number 12, number 12 went to throw the ball, and thanks to the great catch, there was still 2 seconds left for the final field goal. But that was one of those plays. You know, it reminded me of the helmet catch in the Super Bowl. Because when you saw it live, you thought, "Oh, that couldn't be a catch."
No, they didn't even call it. They didn't call it right away.
Yeah, exactly. You thought, "Oh, that ball must have hit the ground." On this one, you thought, "Oh, the guy must have been out of bounds."
Sure.
And then you see the replay, and slow motion replays now in the high def, you gain that appreciation.
Of course.
Yeah, it was. I agree with you. That was as good a day as I've seen for back-to-back football. And the first 6 playoff games this year were kind of. Some of them were good for a while, but the final scores, nobody was going down to the end to see who was going to win and lose.
We're going to get to predictions in 1 second. I'm just curious. People can't stop talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm curious. We always have this conversation. You have one game, everything's on the line. In the history of the world, you're allowed to throw. You can pick any quarterback to get in there and just quarterback. One game, you have to get the W, no matter what.
Right.
Who's the one guy you pick? I picked Brett Favre. You picked
Fran Tarkenton.
And you picked
Aaron Rodgers.
I guess, can you go like that?
What do you think I'm asking you?
Okay. It's hard to go against Aaron Rodgers right now, but also Tom Brady is not chopped liver on that either. But I will say this: when the situation is at its toughest, that's where Aaron Rodgers seems to come.
You don't think
through.
you think Aaron Rodgers was better than Brett Favre?
Brett Favre played for 20 years. Aaron Rodgers has played as a regular for 9 years now.
So just give him another 11 and see where he is.
I don't think he'll go another 11. That seems unreasonable to ask of anybody. But I think that Aaron Rodgers is playing at least as well as Brett Favre ever played at his peak.
Okay.
That's how well I think.
Love it.
That's how good I think Aaron Rodgers is playing.
Connor, can you bring over the prediction board? We're going to do some predictions. It's really high tech.
Oh,
Yeah.
the prediction board.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might need some space between.
We had a question.
Turn around and show Steve
While
the
we're-
prediction board.
Yeah, we are. Is the camera seeing that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
This will be the debut of the
All right.
prediction board. All right, I'm looking.
This is the
Okay.
prediction board. It's going to go right here. Okay?
All right. Is that you?
That's me. That's
Okay.
my hair.
And then-
It looks like Pippi Longstocking.
Here
And then we have our things here to put up. Now,
All right. Oh.
Guess which one is me?
all the phones. Okay. So we have,
Is this a commentary on the
On how
length
tall
of
you
my
are.
neck?
no, it was supposed to be your body. It didn't work out. In my head, it was going to be really
Looks
long.
like one of
I'm
uh,
sure I'm the shortest
President
person.
Trump's ties.
Oh yeah, it does
Have you
look like
noticed how long his ties
and
are?
thin, long, yeah, thin, long ties.
I'm tall, so occasionally people give me a tie for a gift, and there's
Right.
such a thing as like an extra length tie.
Right.
These things are made for like a Shaq or
Right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or something. They're not made for me. I'm 6'4", so I'm tall, but I, you know,
Not
I put it on.
obscenely tall.
But somebody must have given him these extra length ties. They
Right.
must be
But
thinking I'm
you
used to
have-
them. I'm not going to go out and buy
Let
one.
the tie go away.
Because his tie is always well below. It's supposed to hit your belt line.
Yeah, it doesn't use a belt line. It's very below.
It goes
And I
way
imagine
beyond
you
it.
can't tell him what to do. He's going to wear what he wants to wear.
Yeah, I've heard that rumor.
And that's it.
Okay.
Okay, so you ready for this? AFC Championship, you have everything right here. So in the AFC, it is either going to be, everyone's going to have to make their predictions. So I don't know if you're allowed to make predictions.
Are these things going to stick on?
No,
We're
we
gonna
haven't.
put tape on the back.
Listen, we don't like to, this
I
is
hate to go back
organic.
to Trump again, but there was a picture during the campaign of one of these long ties, and it was a windy day, and he'd just gotten off the
Yeah,
plane.
to wrap around
And
3 times.
So the still picture was like this.
Uh-oh.
And there's, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a little thing on the back of a tie where you like tuck in the
Yeah.
pocket. So this thing here,
Yeah.
that thing must have been ripped on his tie. So he had scotch tape,
No.
an X of scotch tape. So
No.
on the photograph, this photograph's out there somewhere.
It is?
It's of the
Maybe
future
that's why
president.
he has so much money. Because he doesn't waste time buying his own.
All right, so we're going to double face tape.
Yeah, so tell me what you first, oh, AFC. Should we do you first? Lance, AFC, your pick.
Oh, I'm going first?
Yeah, you
Because
go
everybody
first.
wants to hear my opinion
Steelers or
first.
Patriots? Just pick
Steelers.
one.
I can't pick two.
No.
Oh, I thought you told me to pick just one. I was gonna
Usually
pick.
it's a 5-minute story.
I was gonna pick both of them because that would increase my odds of getting one of them right.
Exactly.
This is the statistician. Let's go.
I actually.
Steelers or Patriots? Who's going to win that game?
Connor says the Steelers.
But what does Lance say?
I've learned that the Becks are always right.
So you're going to go with?
The Steelers.
Okay. It's a clean team.
Actually, no, I'm gonna go with the home teams.
Okay, so you're going with the Patriots.
I'm going with the Patriots, and I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Okay.
Well,
And then
we
you're
can
going.
do score prediction also. The Sharpie's up there.
Okay, we'll do that afterwards.
Okay.
Oh,
And
we're doing
then
Steelers.
Connor, you're obviously going with the
Steelers.
Steelers.
Oh.
Listen,
Little
this is how it works.
frisbee action.
Okay, Steve.
This is for the AFC.
For the AFC.
I think I'll have to move this one.
Darren, the land's picture is of phones.
Oh, those are pictures of 27 cell phones.
Okay.
Okay. And
Just a guess here. Just a guess. I haven't seen the script.
I haven't seen the script. I am also, because I'm basically practically married to a Patriot. Okay, so there you go. In the NFC, before we do scores, we have the Falcons. I'm really surprised with the Falcons. I really thought it should have been, I would have liked the Cowboys, and I would have liked this to be the conference game.
The Falcons had an incredible year. And you know, one thing about the weekend
Wow.
is how great all the quarterbacks are.
They're phenomenal.
I mean, you don't have to explain one either one.
I
There
know.
are 3 guys who, in my mind, are sure shot Hall of Famers if their careers ended this weekend.
Wow.
Brady, Roethlisberger, and Rodgers.
Yeah.
And in Matt Ryan, the guy who's the leading passer in the league this year, probably going to be the MVP of the league.
Really?
And yeah. He led the league in passing. They have a preliminary vote. They have like a vote of all the sports writers at each position. So who is the All-Pro team? So
Right.
Matt Ryan won the All-Pro quarterback over Tom Brady, only one. And so I think he's probably going to be the MVP.
I couldn't pick Matt Ryan out of a lineup right now.
Oh, he's the quarterback on the Falcons. You've seen him someday.
Oh, is that what we're talking about? Okay. Well, I will tell you, I'll go first. I still like Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. Plus, I think this right here would be a ratings bonanza.
It would be. Well, what's that got to do with who wins this one?
I didn't get that far yet. So first, tell me who do you like in the NFC?
Experience really is important for the quarterback in these postseason games. In fact, if you did nothing else other than to say, all right, I think the team with the older quarterback will win.
How many times would you be right?
I think it's 17 of the last 21.
Really?
The older quarterback has won playoff game.
No one should ever go
Who's
into
older, Manning or Brady? Is Brady?
Well,
older,
Manning's
or
not playing anymore.
Manning.
So-
No, like
Brady.
Eli
was older
Manning.
than Brady. Oh, Eli Manning.
Eli
No,
Manning is
Tom
younger
Brady's
than
older.
Tom Brady's older than Eli.
Yeah.
So, and we have 4 guys who are terribly accomplished, all in their 30s, but I don't know.
Experience.
Based on that?
Have more experience.
I think we have to go with the older guy.
Lance,
I'm going with the home teams.
so you're going with Packers. Make sure that sticks there, Steve.
They're the home team?
Look them over.
Jenna, aren't
Falcons.
Falcons?
Oh, the Falcons are.
I'll you can keep it.
Okay, Connor's going
Oh,
here,
he's going
and you're going there. Now, I don't know how to do this, but we're going to do this real quick, and then we're moving on. We have to do some scores. I never know why people do
there.
this.
I don't know why people
I don't
pick scores.
understand either.
It's
It
a
doesn't-
matter of discourse.
Yeah,
I
you know
know
what?
if people are, but
Oh, it's because of the betting?
I don't know. I mean, to me, who's gonna get to the Super Bowl is a
Yeah,
question.
you know what? It's my show. I don't care about scores. This is the WSPN hour, and guess what? All I want to know is who's getting to the Super Bowl. Oh wait, why don't you just tell me who's going to win?
Did we just do that?
No, who's going to win?
Oh, who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I think it's too early for that because you don't know who might get injured this week and all that stuff.
Based solely on this.
The dynamic will change.
Are you not allowed to?
I can do it, but I'll phone you in next week after I see.
All right. Well, I'm going to say between these two, it's going to be a great game. I say the Patriots win.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because I'll be like kicked out of my own
Because
house.
Steph is rooting.
The tall man is going to absolve his vote. Is that even the right term of the word? Lately, I've just been going with it. I'm just going with the word,
Absolve,
whether
yeah.
I'm right or wrong.
Okay. I
Lance,
think it's abstain.
Patriots, or Falcons?
The
There's
Falcons.
no home team. Falcons are going to win this whole Super Bowl.
Wow.
And then Connor,
All of it.
Steelers.
One other thing to keep in mind is the Falcons this week are getting a new stadium next year, so they're closing down the Georgetown. This will be the last game of the Georgetown.
Who's the favorite?
And pardon me?
Who's the favorite in the game?
Got no idea.
Is that in the line?
Yeah.
Connor, who's favorite? Do you know who's favorite?
For
The NFC game.
NFC, I don't know, but I imagine.
Have they come out with it yet?
Oh, you think Green Bay's favorite?
Yeah.
But
I think
the,
so, but only
There were only 2 other times where a team closed down the stadium with the playoff game to try to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The championship game. And both times they lost. Once the Eagles, your old Eagles,
Right.
under
Andy Reid?
Andy Reid, lost
No.
to John Gruden's Tampa Bay team. And
Okay.
They closed down with that. It was the last
That's
game
bad.
of the day.
That's right.
What's the Falcons' record in the NFC Championship games?
They won once.
They've only played once, right?
I'm not sure if they played one.
I really don't know much about the Falcons per se, only because living in New York, you don't get a chance to watch many Falcons games unless they're playing against the Giants or Jets. So unfortunately, I've not watched so many of their games.
Well, they got a very good defensive front. They got a good pass rush. This guy Beasley is probably the best pass rusher left in the playoffs right now at this point. And they're a tremendous offensive team. They led the league in scoring I think they averaged over 33 points a game.
Wow.
The Packers themselves are a high-scoring team, so this could be a back-and-forth high-scoring game.
Wow.
It's looking like one of the highest most points ever in a championship game won.
Yeah.
It's 73. I thought
That's a lot of points.
I could see that coming into play here.
I just will say, as we're doing this, you're watching, there is some protest. People don't like the garbage situation, obviously, in DC. They're turning over all the garbage cans. Maybe it's a recycling thing, I'm not sure, but it's a shame. So there's...
He hates these cans.
He hates these cans. He hates those cans. But it's too bad that's
What the cans
happening
do?
right now.
Yeah.
They're setting fire to them. Again, it's hard for me to tell, based on the size of the TV, if that is one small area or if that is a large-scale protest. All right. Now that we know what your predictions are, I have one more question, and then we're going to do something called a bracket. We're going to do one of these brackets.
A bracket?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to be
Oh,
involved
you've
in it.
become known for the bracket.
I do the brackets,
Okay.
yeah. And they're betting on these things in Vegas. They're going like hotcakes.
Really?
Johnny Manziel tweeted this morning, or yesterday, that he admits, quote, in 2016, I was a douche. I'm going to be a better person this coming year. I'm going to be a good person this year. That's what he said.
Okay.
I likened it to Ryan Leaf stumbling a couple times saying, yeah, I made a mistake, this is it, I'm going to get better, like blah, 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 and it couldn't happen.
Never happened.
It never happened for him at all. And he tried a couple times, he went to rehab, I remember a couple different ways he tried to get help, and it just wouldn't happen. What do you think of Johnny Manziel? How talented was he? How talented could he have been?
Tell you the truth, I root for a guy like that who's had troubles. I mean, I'd love to see him pick himself up, and you know, there are, you know, so many stories of people who've overcome personal problems like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to see it. You know, I thought the last time when he actually started a couple games for the Browns, I guess this was in the 15 season, but he sort of frittered that away in the last game of the season.
And now he's where?
Well, he's out of football right now.
No one picked him up? I thought he would.
No.
Oh.
In fact, remember at the beginning of this season, the Cowboys, even before they played their first exhibition game, the backup quarterback to Tony Romo got hurt during training camp, and so they had to get a new backup, and they were thinking of signing this guy Nick Foles, who had been released and was out there, but Nick Foles decided to sign with Andy Reid as the backup in Kansas City,
right,
rather than go to Dallas. Then they play their first exhibition game, and Romo gets hurt. And so now the only guy they're left with there is Dak Prescott.
And meanwhile, Alex Smith, even though he had 27 concussions, never stayed starting, and Nick Foles.
Yeah, and Nick Foles didn't see the field too much. But, you know, things like that happen. But during that whole process, Johnny Manziel's name was thrown out. I think the Cowboys would sign Johnny Manziel because when he was coming out of college, Jerry Jones famously went on some shows and was talking him up as if that might be a viable guy for the Cowboys to pick up to eventually come in and replace Romo. So, you know, there are opportunities aplenty. If you know, part of the issue with Manziel is he had, just on football side, he never really demonstrated the kind of passing techniques that you would need in the pro game as opposed to college game. Almost Tim Tebow-ish type of thing, where his college game might not have translated very well to the pro game.
Sure.
So, you know, that's something for him to overcome on a professional level. But before he gets there, he's got to solve his personal deal.
All right, so let's just pop a couple real quick questions out of there. So, what happens next year in Dallas? How do you take the ball out of Dak's hand? Does he start?
I think Dak's got the job. Even in the game they lost on Sunday, he threw 3 touchdown passes.
Yes, but in the second quarter, I heard it. I was waiting to see how long it would take for Troy Aikman to say, so now what do you do?
He mentioned the R word.
I said, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
And he threw like one errant pass, and all of a sudden I was like, what do we do?
And just no sooner than he said that, and the Packers were up by like 18, and he came down zip, 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 and they were in the
go to the
end zone.
halftime, and all of a sudden they got the momentum back.
He threw 3 touchdown passes in the championship in a playoff game as a rookie, which the last guy to do that was in 1937. We were called Slinging Sammy Boa.
Let me tell you about Slinging Sammy Boa.
Slinging
Sammy Sosa, Boas. That was Sammy Sosa's third cousin.
I'll be like Justice Roberts. You be like the president.
Okay, you think.
Do solemnly swear. Slinging Sammy Boa.
Boa. A couple other things, because I heard Colin Kaepernick's name has been swished around here in New York as a possibility with the Jets. Have you heard that? What do you think?
Yeah,
you know my whole issue with Colin Kaepernick?
No.
I was at the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I walked up to him. He was with a group of people. I said, "Hi, I'm with the Today Show. I'm not looking to do anything crazy. I don't want to ask you any football questions, but I'd love our audience to get to know you, especially if you go somewhere else, whatever. Once the Today Show audience knows you, it becomes a thing. Can I just ask you 2 or 3 questions? Like, basically, what are you having for dinner? I mean, it's super easy." And he goes, "I don't think so."
Well,
I said,
where were you at the time? Were you
No, I was
out
at a
to eat?
restaurant. I understand that. I
Right.
understand that. Didn't have to be today. I said it could have been tomorrow. I said any time
Right.
before the game. Our audience will take it.
Right.
I have not
Turned you
forgotten
down.
that. Oh, not many men have turned me down. Let me put it that way, okay? I have not forgotten it. And then he decides not to stand, and I had a little bit of an issue. But anyway, regardless, you see him playing for the Jets
I don't know.
or anywhere next year?
I see him playing. He's got talent, and he did take a team to the Super Bowl.
But then he had a really bad year after.
You think the Jets would sign him? Didn't the Jets owner just get like the job as?
He
Well, Woody
got the
Johnson
job
is
as
now
the
the
ambassador
to the United Kingdom.
Right.
Seems about right, obviously, that seems like a good
Well, he was a big supporter of the
Trump.
president, and but I don't know. But the Jets clearly have to come up with some plan other than the current one. So I'd say anything is on the table. and people say, "Oh, what about Tony Romo?" Tony Romo is not going to be intrigued by coming to the Jets.
No.
If Denver were looking, maybe.
Okay.
But as far as Kaepernick's concerned, his options might be more limited. And being much younger than Romo, I think the Jets were looking for somebody. I'm not sure they'd be intrigued by Romo either, in that he's.
Why? They went after Brett Favre. They went after all these older quarterbacks.
They've done that. Yeah, they've got a guy who's played in the league for 12 years now, or something, Fitzpatrick. And
All right.
I could see, if you ask me, are the Jets a possible landing spot? I'd say, yeah, they're a possible landing spot for right your buddy.
Colin Kaepernick. Anyway.
So your thing with him, and this was before the whole flag thing, the Star Spangled Banner.
This was way before that.
Just before that.
This was way before
Just
that.
to make clear that you.
Oh, I had an issue with that way before. And I was at a restaurant, I think I've told the story before, I was at a restaurant the night before that Super Bowl. It was me and my producer. There was only one other couple in the restaurant. One other couple. A tall, good-looking guy, athletic guy, with his wife and a 4-year-old, and me and Robert Cirodon, my producer. And I'm looking at this guy, and I was like, he looks familiar. And he's like kind of depressed and is a little bit like kind of bummed. He's playing with his kid. And I'm like, what? This is so random for such a good-looking guy to be just with this one. There's no one else in this restaurant. It was in New Orleans. There was
Right.
nobody else there. And they were done, and they got up, and he was sort of hanging his head down a little bit, and he left, and it was Alex Smith. Was the best.
Was that the New Orleans Super Bowl?
That was the
where
New
we had
Orleans
lunch?
Super Bowl. We had lunch there. I told you I was pregnant at that Super Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a big one. Okay, so Steve, we do these brackets. I love brackets here. Basically, it's to take the temperature of what people outside of this little couch think of what's happening. Favorite TV shows, favorite musicians, favorite groups, favorite books, favorite artists.
I know.
We did favorite teams.
I've seen it when you do it on Twitter.
Yes. So now we were like, we'll do your favorite NFL player of all time.
No.
But then I said, but Lance, do we do our favorite NFL player or the greatest NFL player? So we said, why don't we just ask Steve, because you probably know all the NFL players. Do you do your greatest or your favorite, and are they one and the same?
Well, they're both dependent on the age of the person who's doing the picking.
Explain.
Well, have you seen Jim Brown play?
I have never seen Jim Brown play.
I'm old enough that I saw him play.
Some people say he's the
Lance
greatest
has
player
seen
of all
Frank
time.
Tarkenton play quarterback. Have you?
I didn't know who that
I
was.
can say this: if any of those guys that were mentioned had been playing quarterback for the Giants in 1971, they'd all be dead.
Yeah.
They got shot?
No, because he was known for scrambling.
by his offensive line.
Oh, Frank Tarkenton.
Yeah, he's
I was on the run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Understood.
They didn't have a very strong offensive line in those years.
I didn't read between the lines there. I wasn't reading.
No, he didn't even literally do it.
I said that's terrible. That's whatever. What was going on back then? Rioting. There must have been. People were dying.
It wasn't
They had
customary
bad
to shoot
garbage.
the quarterbacks.
Where are you losing? You're done. No.
I did
Obviously.
that in Colombia once in the World Cup or something.
And that didn't go over very well. All right. So should we do your favorite then? Obviously.
Well, I think it'll be more interesting for fans and viewers to pick their favorites.
Favorite NFL player.
Favorite NFL player. And it doesn't have to be a current player.
Nor does it have to be a great player.
Doesn't have to be a great player.
My favorite baseball player, as everyone knows, was Greg Jeffries.
Really?
Yep.
Does Greg know that?
No, he doesn't. But we looked him up. He looks kind of the same. I think he has a car wash somewhere. It's with Lenny Dykstra, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Greg Jeffries. I'm a big fan of utility infielder.
You know, he was a good hitter. I think he was not the most popular player in the Met clubhouse.
I know that. I know. I did a lot
And
of
here's why I thought that. There was a quiz show on. This was shown in New York a year or two ago, and it was based on some of the quiz shows you see on TV, but it was all Mets related because it was on the Mets TV network.
Okay.
And one of the games they played was that the two teammates playing, and the two teammates were one of the broadcasters, and then actually he was giving clues to two current broadcasters, but former Mets and former teammates of Greg Jeffries. Those guys were Keith Hernandez and Ron Darrow.
Yeah, I could have told you that.
Players.
Yep.
So the broadcaster is giving clues to them, and the name that they're trying to look for is Greg Jeffries.
Oh no.
And the broadcaster says, "Oh, this guy, okay, yeah, he was a teammate of yours. He
Love
played
this
with
game.
you
It's
guys.
$25,000
He
pyramid.
was an infielder,
Yes.
and they're not getting it. They're guessing on the guys." He said that nobody liked him very much. They both go, "Greg Jeffries." So I hope Greg wasn't watching. I mean, it was his teammate. He was not going to.
No idea.
Nobody liked Greg Jeffries.
That's very funny.
So, but
All
I didn't know you were.
I was a big fan
You
because he
liked
looked like a guy. He was cute. I
You
liked
liked
cute players. All right, and I had his baseball card. Okay, we're doing all-time favorite NFL players.
Didn't have to be a great player.
No, we got to come up with 64.
Football
What?
players.
Yeah.
64?
Yeah.
Football players
No.
are
Right now?
football
No,
players.
okay.
Football players are NFL players.
Oh no, NFL
NFL.
players.
NFL.
NFL players. Otherwise, I can't.
That's
I think it's better.
But it doesn't have to be a great player, and it doesn't have to be an active
Doesn't have to
player.
be a current player. Correct.
I'm going to get the gold star.
Yeah. So we want all. This is where audience participation comes in.
Just to show that it doesn't have to be a Hall of Famer, but this guy was very interesting while he played. He did commercials. He was
Oh,
a
Joe
fun
Namath.
guy. All right, let's put him on the list.
Joe Namath.
But I was gonna say refrigerator Perry.
Oh, the fridge.
Fridge.
Then let me do another one from that same team, Jim McMahon.
Yes.
Everybody loved Jim McMahon.
Punky QB.
Let's go. Same team, Walter Payton,
Sweetness.
number 4034, number 434.
Greatest running backs ever.
Yep, number 34, Walter Payton. So now we'll just keep going. I mean, like throw a guy out there if you have. Oh, Jason Seymour. Loved Jason Seymour.
All right. It's a little
A little random.
surprising.
Andy wanted to
NFL
say-
players ever.
What?
Annie wanted to say Rudy, but Rudy didn't play in the NFL.
Rudy didn't play in the NFL.
Rudy
Yes,
was here
no,
yesterday.
Rudy
Was it-
Whittaker.
Really?
Yep, sat right
Oh.
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, and Rudy Giuliani, he didn't play
Rudy
in the
Giuliani
NFL
did
either.
not play in the NFL.
Somebody's saying Franco Harris.
Frank
Oh,
over
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Definitely a contender.
How about
And so you get some regional things. So we picked some Chicago guys, we picked the
Yeah.
Pittsburgh guys now.
Yeah.
Let's well, we got to put
Jim Brown?
Somebody's
Brown,
saying
Cleveland.
Jim Brown. Somebody's saying actually Jay Rohan is saying O.J. Simpson.
Was a great player.
He
Was a
was
great
Or we're doing
player.
favorite player. You
Yeah.
want to put him in the bracket or?
Sure.
That's
Here we go,
up to
Brett
the-
Favre,
up
my
to the
favorite
editorial
player.
board here.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put him in. I mean, that's like, do you put Pete Rosen as one of your favorite players? You can.
Cincinnati is one of the all-time favorites.
Yeah.
How about Tom Brady? That's a good
Tom
one.
Brady, Brett Favre. You got Brett Favre?
Favre with Brett Favre.
Rich Kotite? I'm just kidding. Did he play?
Ken
He did.
Stabler.
No way.
Yes.
No way, Rich Kotite.
He was on some of those Giants teams that Lance was talking
I thought
about.
he would have gotten
He was
shot.
the,
Yeah. Rich Kotite.
Ken Stabler, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Oh, Barry Sanders for sure.
Fred Smith. Is he a player? He's the only one that ever recorded 2 safeties in a game.
That's Fred Dryer.
Fred Dryer.
Fred Dryer.
Put that on.
He's
You
one
know
of the
what that
guys
was
who-
I just gave you? That was a stat, my friend.
Andy
Man.
2 safeties in a game.
Yeah, I think you told me
Now
that.
what? Yeah.
George Blanda.
George Blanda. He was he played until he was into his 40s. He was a quarterback most of his career, and at the end he was just a kicker. But
Because he had the wooden leg.
no,
Wooden foot,
no, that was
wooden toe.
Tom Dempsey,
Tom
and
Dempsey.
it wasn't wood. But
But I was right on.
okay, it was sort of close.
Tom Dempsey.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice. I was just going to say we need a receiver
Joe
too, so let's start
Montana.
at the top.
Joe Montana. Johnny Unitas.
John
Johnny
Elway.
Unitas. Let's see, I need some defensive players here.
Okay, let's go Michael Strahan, some
Michael
people's
Strahan.
favorite players.
Reggie White,
Do you go Ray Lewis?
Ray Lewis, for
Ray
sure.
Lewis.
A lot of people
Reggie
would
White
like
would be great, yeah.
it. Reggie White.
What was his name who played
Deion Sanders.
Oh, Deion
He's a great
Sanders.
defensive back, a cornerback.
LT.
LT, maybe the
Yes.
greatest
Of all
defensive
time.
player of all time. Mike Singletary of the Bears.
Oh yeah.
Remember they had the camera come in on his eyes, and
Yeah.
his eyes would be so big and focused on the running back.
Growing up, I had Brad Van Pelt.
How about Alex Van Pelt?
He wore number 10.
Alex Van Pelt is
Ron-
his son, played backup quarterback for the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
Ronnie
Where
Lott.
did that
How about the
come
guy on
from?
ESPN?
Who's that?
The guy with the glasses. He
Oh,
did-
Sean Salisbury?
No. He's
Did
a-
anyone want to
he's
give
a
me a little
Sports
credit for
Center guy.
Alex Van Pelt? Like, that was
Okay.
a great get.
But he's not going to go on the list.
No, he's not going to go.
Boomer Esiason.
Boomer, yes.
Anthony
Phil Simms.
Munoz.
Did Boomer call in with them?
Yeah, that was Merlin Olson.
Okay.
Oh, alright.
Merlin Olson. Is that
Merlin Olsen.
He was
That's
a great defensive player and a very nice little house on the
Little House on the
prairie
Prairie.
type of
Andy Dalton?
actor. Andy Dalton,
He's the best player of all.
redheaded community.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
big out there. I mean,
Dan Marino?
there you go. Oh,
Yes.
very popular.
Absolutely. Let's do some wide receivers. Let's go,
Fred Biletnikoff just came up.
sure. I mean, how current
Oakland
would you
Raiders.
say are really, can you say like a,
Well, we could get Tom Brady on there. We got
okay, so do you say like an Odell Beckham Jr.? No, we do
absolutely.
Odell Beckham. Jordan Nelson.
Jordy Nelson of the
I
Packers.
really like Jordan
We need
Nelson.
more defensive players.
Megatron?
Megatron, yes.
Connor, give me a defensive player for the Steelers that you love.
Clayton and
Joe
Duper.
Green.
Mean Joe Green.
Mean Joe
Mean
Green,
Coca-Cola.
absolutely.
Jack Lambert?
Troy
Jack-
Polamalu.
Jack Lambert.
Troy Polamalu.
The hair.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of guys who did commercials who'd have renown beyond the football field.
Let's see.
Um,
Troy Vincent, great defensive back. Was he?
yeah,
Troy Vincent. I
Troy
loved
Vincent.
Troy Vincent. I loved Hugh Douglas.
Hugh Douglas.
Yeah.
We're going through the Eagles that you covered
Well,
now.
I'm going through people that I know.
Richard Sherman?
Yeah.
Richard Sherman.
Outspoken.
Yes.
I love it.
That was a commercial.
Yes. Oh, for Campbell's soup. What about Clay Matthews?
Clay Matthews for sure.
What's his name? What's the center's name for the Jets?
Mangold.
Jeff Mangold.
Care about Phil Simms or
Oh, what
Eli
about
Manning?
Peyton Manning and Eli Manning?
Phil Simms, Peyton Manning,
How many do we have?
Eli Manning. We have around, we have about 40.
We need 64.
Come on, guys, out there.
Yeah.
Larry,
Come
Give me
up.
well, these guys have they've been coming up. Richard Sherman, Ocho Cinco.
Ocho Cinco,
Is he still
Chad
playing?
Johnson. No, I think he's back being Chad Johnson again.
Oh, is he? Emmett
What
Smith.
about Steve from the
Terry
49ers?
Bradshaw.
Quarterback.
Steve Young,
Steve Young,
Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw, Joe Theismann.
Antonio Brown.
Antonio
Antonio
Brown.
Brown,
I think he's quickly becoming a favorite.
great player right now.
Yes.
And then
Harry Carson.
Aaron
Yeah.
Carson, little New
Ron
York
Harrison.
centric, but he's a great.
Okay, Marvin
Hall of Fame
Harrison.
player.
DeMarcus Ware.
Edgerrin James, Ricky
Richard
Williams,
James, Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner. Did he get in or he's up for the Hall of Fame?
He's up for the Hall of Fame. I think he's Hall of Fame quality.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They did take two to the Super Bowl.
two different teams.
Yep.
And
Larry
the second Super Bowl, he actually hit Larry Fitzgerald with a pass to put the Cardinals ahead in like the closing 2 minutes of the game. But the defense let the Steelers come down and score. Kurt Warner didn't have anything to do
Right,
with
that
it.
was
You know,
his
he did his thing.
Yeah. What about Gronkowski?
Gail Sayers.
Yes,
Gail
of
Sayers.
course.
Gronkowski's very popular.
Gronkowski. How about?
Let me give you a stat here. We'll take 1 minute off. Because, Gronkowski isn't playing. He's injured. Not going to play.
He won't come back at all.
What would you think? Not for this game this week.
Okay.
So, what would you think of a quarterback who had these stats in the game? If he completed, I think it's 32 out of 38
Yes.
for 496 yards, 8 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
Of
I think that
course.
would be a pretty good game.
Yeah. Who was it?
Record break. That is Tom Brady's. Those are Tom Brady's numbers throwing only to Gronkowski over the 5 games they've played against the Steelers, who they're playing this weekend.
Oh.
And so that's what the Patriots will be missing
Oh.
this weekend. Gronk won't be there.
Wow.
So
I love your
those
stats.
Those are some pretty
Those are great numbers.
pretty great numbers. 8 touchdown passes in 5 games. All right.
Bo Jackson.
Yes,
Bo
Bo
Jackson.
Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Marvin Harrison.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about what's his name? What was the running back's name for the Cowboys? Troy Aikman and
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith.
Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor had a short career, but
Short career. He was great.
a popular player.
Bart Starr.
Sure.
Bart Starr.
What about some Giants receivers?
How about like like
Dickerson. What about
Ray
Dickerson?
Nitschke with the Packers? He was like you see his breath come out of his mouth.
Frank Gifford?
Frank Gifford.
Certainly.
Who was the only guy for the Giants that played? No, it was the Eagles. He played offense and defense.
Oh, Chuck Bednarik.
Chuck Bednarik. That was a
Guy who
good
hit
stat.
Frank Gifford
Yeah.
very high.
Chuck Bednarik.
Offense and defense.
Thank you. See, I remember everything.
Steve Smith?
Jenna
Yes.
has a great, like,
I know. It's one of them,
when you see those Venn diagrams in mathematics, you'd see two circles and they would intersect at a certain point.
Right.
So like for Jenna, one circle would be football and sports generally circa 2002 to 2007 or 8.
Yes.
And other one would be New York and Philadelphia centric.
Correct.
And where those things collide,
I'm
where those things, I mean,
Yep.
you're right.
Sherry Stretch pulls through with a good one. Dick Butkus.
Dick Butkus.
Oh yeah,
Rohan, give me another one.
Big Buckets.
I mean, there's so many. I
Yeah,
don't.
we need some extras in case some of these don't play out.
Yeah, we have.
So let's go back. So give me some good players right now. Do we even have?
Yeah, we got.
Oh, yeah, we were a
Those are
little
the
light,
four
we're probably
quarterbacks.
light on the inactive players.
Yeah, the Roethlisberger.
And Roethlisberger, certainly.
You mean
well
active that are
recognized.
in the playoffs right now?
Or that's currently playing. Matt Ryan.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald, we got. Mike Singletary, we got.
How about a kicker?
Kicker. Pete
Adam
Gogolak.
Vinatieri might be
Adam
the
Vinatieri.
most accomplished.
What about Sebastian Janikowski?
What about Ray Guy?
Yeah, Ray Guy's a punter. I'm not sure. They should have representation. Punters are people too.
I don't know.
Which I likes to see.
Sebastian Janikowski. The guy's played for like 29 years. There's got to be something said for longevity in this league. If you're a kicker and you're not successful, you're out.
Right, and he's still in.
And he's still in.
Eric Dickerson.
I've said that a couple times. I would say definitely.
Okay,
Yes.
I think an answer. Archie Griffin.
Archie Griffin had probably better known as a college football player than as pro, but
Sorry,
he did
sir.
play in the pros, so he's technically eligible. So if you like him, put him on the list.
Okay.
Archie.
I'd say 2 or 3 more.
2 or 3 more.
Any wide receiver? Any let's see.
John Brockington.
I don't know who that is.
Who's the most famous offensive lineman? That's almost
Orlando Pace.
John Runyon. Sorry.
Who played for?
The Eagles. Okay.
Gene Upshaw. Art Shell.
No, not. Let's do more current
If I
ones.
said how about a mayor? Would you mention like the mayor of Philadelphia when you
Probably
went
would.
down
I
there?
probably would. There's a
Nutter.
good chance I
Is it
would.
Nutter?
There would. McNabb. Okay, we'll get out of that. No one from the Jets besides Mangold? What about
We have
Osi
Joe Namath.
Umenyiora? Is he a great player?
Probably
JPP.
a lot of people wouldn't know who he is.
Rogers Cromartie?
More people would know JPP.
Yeah, you
Darrell
know
Rivas.
me.
What about Rivas?
Darrell Rivas. What about Curtis Martin?
Curtis Martin, was probably he probably was a better football player. He probably should have had more renown than he was.
Because he was on the Jets? And the
just
Patriots,
that
About Ezekiel Elliott.
it's
Oh, he will be. Yeah. Come on, Ezekiel Elliott?
hey, might be the MVP as a rookie.
Yeah.
I think he'll be Matt Ryan, but might be Ezekiel Elliott.
I can't even believe he's a rookie.
And you should keep the nominations open because we're just doing this off the top of our head.
Oh yeah, we'll check out Jack Youngblood, just for his name.
Jack
Yeah.
Young. Yeah, with the Rams in the 70s, he was a good player. But
You have any
What
offensive
about Drew Bledsoe? I mean,
Lyman?
Drew from the Saints. New Orleans.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Yeah,
Great player.
Drew Brees. Yeah, we're a little light on the Saints here. We should think of some teams we haven't put anybody on for. We got the Marino from the Dolphins. We got
Anyone from
One of
like
the Bears.
Jacksonville?
we got
Howie Long.
Oh, what about Cam Newton?
Cam Newton should be.
Howie Long.
People in Charlotte
Yeah.
need to hear Cam Newton.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Howie's good.
Thumbs up or thumbs down on Howie Long?
Yeah, sure. You
And
know.
how about also from Charlotte, because this guy's really popular defensive player, Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
Luke Kuechly, one of the best linebackers right now.
Or let's not forget. I guess I forgot him. So.
Oh, what's his name?
What's that coach's name again? Just give me his initials.
From
Charlotte.
I'll be doing the coaches.
Yeah, but he was the linebackers
Ron
coach.
Rivera.
Yeah, he was linebackers coach in Philly. So.
Did John Madden play? Is John Madden?
No, John Madden never played.
No, but Pat
never
Summerall did.
So when we
Pat
do this
Summerall
on
played.
coaches, we can have
Yeah.
John Madden in or TV.
All right, so I think that's a good list for now. We're gonna hold it off right
We
there.
have enough.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, because we always like to, and then what we do is you know how it works. We lay them all up into 64 names, and then we pair them up, put them on Twitter,
Just like the
and
NCAA
people
tournament.
vote. Yeah. And then we end up having a champion of who your favorite all-time favorite players.
So who are some of the categories you've done?
We have done, I mean, like 50.
Favorite
we've
book
done.
is
Oh, that's
Favorite
all-
book, favorite
all
TV
the
show, favorite
wallpaper around the
movies.
room.
That's it. Favorite musician, and then as soon as we win them, as soon as someone wins them, I sign and we put them on eBay,
Right.
and then someone bids on them and buys them. So we've gotten rid of like 10 of them already. We've done artists. We've done a lot of different.
And
really
so you
cool.
actually make a little money from it.
Yeah. Is that a little sign for little money?
And that's where the
That's where the
Weekend
art and
Update
couch.
map came
Weekend
from
update
here.
map came in. Yep, absolutely. We have some art. We're getting there.
Okay.
But Steve, I must say you've been here from the very beginning of our show.
Our
As
first
you,
guest.
you were the very first guest on the very first show. And we've been in like 27 different locations.
Right.
Happy to say this is our final location.
It's the most comfortable,
It
I'd
is
say that.
far and away the most comfortable location,
It
and
throws
we're
our
warm.
butts off outside on
Yeah.
Broadway.
We decided to do
We're sitting
Times
under
Square.
How
a
was
rolling
that
sun
day?
on your roof.
And granted, we weathered the elements. I understand
Yes,
that. I'll
right.
acknowledge that. But I will say throughout it all, you've been an amazing sport, no pun intended. And I couldn't love sports more because sports for me was always less about numbers and always about issues and personalities, and that's what drew me to it. So to be so enamored by someone who just deals in numbers, when you and I connect and collaborate, I feel like we make something really good.
Well, probably because I like numbers that tell a story. I don't like just to know numbers, just to know.
Yeah.
But I like
I
to
love
have
that.
some application to the oldest sport, I think. So.
Very cool.
It's not the most analytic thing in the world, but it's
No, but
something
it's
that makes the
interesting.
games more interesting when you watch it.
Of
Hey,
course.
It's a little interesting.
Are you watching the games here in town this weekend, or are you going?
No, I'll be around.
All right, so let's text all throughout the game.
Okay, we'll do that.
We got through a full hour. We're going to do another one of these hours next week of an hour of WSPN, the World Sports Personality Network. It is an association with Thuuz, Thuuz. It's a great app. If you guys want to download it, try it. It's going to rank. You put in where you are, what your favorite teams are, no matter where you are. It's going to rank the hottest games, the most exciting games within your network. So even if you're not watching it, it'll come to the top and it'll rank them, and you'll say, "Wow, that North Carolina Duke game seems like it's super exciting. Maybe I should tune in." It's a really cool app. So those guys are working together. We hope you enjoyed it. Love the fact that you were here. We have a new president. Super Bowl 51 is coming. President 45 is here. Things are happening.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. Have a great, great weekend. and we'll be back here on Monday, and we'll do it all over again, same time, same place. Lance,
Great weekend.
keep it real, stay safe. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Talk
Go,
soon.
We'll do it
go
again.
Falcons, go Patriots, right?
Go Patriots, go Packers. That was it. We're
Are
getting
those
it.
all flowers on
I
it?
don't know what is
What is in the
that.
front there?
I think those are
Flowers, yeah.
roses.